fellow YouTubers, it's me again. It's the next day, and today we're gonna do a review of another series of the AliExpress figures. This time being another Choju from the Ultimate Ace series, and this one here is doragory. Now, I for some reason call him the boogeyman monster or the boogie mothman, but that's but he's actually a Choju though. Now I'm gonna apparently this is part of the I'm gonna take it out of the package first, and then we're gonna do a review on it. Yeah, plastic. Oh wow. A tall figure. It's pretty tall, and I like it because he should be very tall. Although for some reason he seems to be tipping over, but he looks cool anyways. So yeah. So he is part of the Ultraman. Like, he appeared in, I think it was episode 7. Yeah, it was episode 7. It was actually after this monster episode. Although, because of how long, and because it was a type of special, it had to be a two-parter episode. So it was like a part 1 and part 2. There might have been a part 3, I don't know, but all I think I know is that there's a part 2 and part 1. But I don't remember which is which, though. But we'll explain the history later. We're just going to take a look at the tag. So he's based on the same line as this figures. In fact, there's even a toy version of him, as you can see. Now you can pause this if you like and translate it, but all I know is that I think those explain like what he is and stuff. He is 67 meters tall and 8,000 tons or something. Or actually, it's 58,000 tons, not the other way around. Sorry. I'm not always good at, like, stuff like that, but I am okay with heights and stuff. Anyways, yeah. So, he's basically from, and I forgot to show, but this is what the tag looks like if I open it up. It's not too much going on. The back here for some reason says some very strange stuff when I translated it. It's not like creepy, but it's just kind of odd. But it's there. And oh, and I forgot, this is the picture of him. He's quite a tall monster, and you can see that's Ultraman Ace, and he's also fighting Metron, Alien Metron. And there's doragory again. Although the sticker thing is like blocking it. But other than that, that's the tag. It's not a bad tag, actually. Although, unfortunately, a lot of people like to throw it out, but it's understandable why. But just remember, don't always throw out the tags, not because you might want to sell this one day or something, but it's also because, these, sometimes the tags have, like, interesting information, so it's like the very old Bandai figures. But anyway, yeah. So now we're gonna first off cut the tag off. I want to make sure I don't cut the figure. And I'm gonna have to use my nail to poke the thing inside. Oh, that's tough. This one is hard to push in. Oh, there we go. You also want to use it, you also want to, like, use that same needle and try to push it in. Am I doing it? Yep, I did it. Can't hear too much, but yeah. Anyway, that's the tag. It's a pretty cool tag. It's a little bit damaged, but I'm gonna put it with my other tags that I have. And let's take a look at the figure, shall we? So, before we're gonna first off go to the detail first and stuff and the paint job. The paint job is actually quite nice, and especially because this is actually a knockoff of the, it kind of is a knockoff of the, Spark Doll version of this, but it's a much better one. Just like the Black King and the Astromods, it is larger, which is good because there's not too many of these figures, unfortunately, that are larger. In fact, there's actually this one that's like there's one that is large, but it's very expensive, and it's the Poppy version. This one is like and there was like, what was it, the Bandai version? But the Bandai version, which is the Spark Doll, is kind of boring. And actually, I was told that the Bandai one is tall, so he's not a bad size, but the problem, though, is that because the Ultra Heroes are usually taller, it's not going to scale up well. So the best type of doragory I honestly recommend is this AliExpress one. So if you, like, what I would do if I were you is I would, like, if you want to, let's say, buy this, you could just go to AliExpress and Google Ultra Kaiju toys, and you should see one of these creatures along with other ones that I did a review on. In fact, they were from the same series, and they should come with cards like these and stuff. Anyway, yeah. So the figure is nicely tall, and that's very good. We'll get to the size comparison later. He has a very nice paint job detail on, like, his stomach, which kind of... Well, here's the thing. Since he's based on a moth, because he was a mix between a moth and a space monster, he's going to have this kind of a leafy, but like this clothing-looking type of texture, as if he was, like, furry and stuff. Because he's basically a moth, but a mutated one. Like it was a mix between a regular moth and a space monster. Although he looks more like some green leaf creature, but he is actually supposed to be green anyways. I don't know why the claws are not painted. I think on the original, on the regular one, they were painted red, and I think it's on the real one as well. But it looks okay. It's not terrible. I don't know if the face should be like this, but it doesn't look as ugly. I like how he has the scary red fangs and the two, what are these, fin things on his head? Very interesting. He has like these strange, I don't consider them too much as scales, but they kind of are. He has, like these patterns here. Not like drawing patterns, but like, it's like he could, he looks like the creature that can actually fly, if you notice. But despite how he looks and stuff, he doesn't really fly, unfortunately. He can jump, like he can jump, but he can't really fly. Maybe in his moth form he can, but he sadly cannot on his. I wish he can do it, because he does look really scary looking, and it'll look even more scarier and funner if he was able to fly. But anyway, yeah. So that's since he's just mostly, like, he's not going to have a lot of detail, but he does. In fact, there are some shadings here, and there's even detail on the top as well. He's not actually a bad figure. In fact, he's starting to become one of my favorites. Even though he's probably a very bad Choji. He's probably the scariest one I ever seen. But I'll explain later why. But anyway, yeah. So, that's the details. He has nice details over here. The head and the eyes and the parts of, like, the fur and, like, the leafy design and stuff. I like how his wings are also wide. And it's hard to tell, but he is, like, a nice, like, in fact, although he is a knockoff, he is quite durable. Like, he has a very good feel. In fact, I don't know if you can see, but it's like you can squish him. If I, like, even better, if I do this, look, watch this. You can even squeeze his arms. It's hard to see, but you can, like, squeeze his belly. See? There. So, yeah. So, the quality of him is very nice. And his details are quite nice as well. Now we're going to get on to the articulation. Now, just like with the previous doragory, not the previous one, but just like the real one, but in a larger scale and a better design, he has the exact same points, I believe, as the other one, except for the poppy. I don't remember what the poppy articulation was, but all I know is that his, oh, you probably saw that. His arms can rotate 360 degrees, however, you have to pull them apart in order not to scrape the paint. In fact, this one here, it, like, comes in contact, so I have to, like, pull it like that, and just move it like that. So, you can, like move it up and down. In fact, if you want to, you could, like he can, let's say, do this, flat like this, or maybe like this, or you can even do this to where it looks like he's gonna slap someone or give you a high five. Whatever. Another articulating point that I don't know why they would have to include, but it's not, like, for me, maybe it's because they want the monster to look like he's, like, moving and stuff like this, is the torso. The torso can rotate 360 degrees. It is stiff, but not the type of stiffness to where it just gets stuck, so you can easily move it. It's just because of the soft vinyl, it's like, kind of a little bit, but it's not terrible. Although, what is kind of like, why would they add this, is for the fact that because it's painted, I mean, when you do this, what's the point? It's gonna look so strange. I guess they just wanted the monster to, like, do this, like, rawr and stuff, but whatever. So yeah. Now we're gonna get on to sizing. That's the articulation. Now, he is, how tall was he? 67 meters. Let's compare him to a kaiju that was the similar height, Black King. I can't tell who is taller. If you count the horns and whatever he is, it looks okay, although I think he should be a little bit bigger, but this looks okay so far. I mean, he is 65 and he is 67, so, yeah. That was Black King, by the way, from the same series. Now, you probably, now I thought about showing another creature that kind of goes interesting well with this one. Astromons from Ultraman Taro. Unfortunately, the scale is not too great. I mean, it doesn't matter too much if they're, like, both 60 meters something, but since he's 67, he should be a little bit taller. But it doesn't look as terrible, so I guess he goes okay. What about Brocken from Ultraman Ace? Yeah, Brocken's scale is perfect. He's supposed to be, he's 63 meters, and he is, how tall was he? 67 meters, so Brocken is good. What about Vakashim? In fact, Vakashim is based on a caterpillar, but he's also a Choju too, and actually that other one is a crocodile Choju, or his name was called Brocken. The sizing actually looks good. He is 65 meters and he is 67, so this is perfect. In fact, they even made an appearance together one time. What about Hanzagirin? I guess it's okay for Hanzagirin. I'm not so sure. What about Barba, who is actually based on a butterfly? Butterfly versus moth. How cool is that? Just kidding. Unfortunately, the scale is not correct. He should be larger, Barba. So, he's too big for Barba. King Crab is probably the worst one, unfortunately, but I do like the details of him, so that's why I got it. he's too small. He's supposed to be larger than doragory. But, oh well. How about Tyrant? Tyrant unfortunately looks a little bit too big. Although if you don't count the horn, it looks okay because he's 62 meters and he is 67. So, yeah. What about an Ultra Hero? I don't have Ultraman Ace, although the closest I can get, and he was from the 70s, was Ultraman Jack. Let me see. It's perfect! Oh my goodness, I can't believe that. You know, usually with Ultra Heroes, the Ultramans would look very awful with the monsters, but for doragory, he's actually a pretty good scale. Even though he should be a little bit taller, this is good. He's at least taller than him, so that's better. You know, you can even do what doragory was doing too and stuff. You can recreate scenes. That's cool. I love it. What about Mr. Stay Puff? It's not very good. Unless you want to have a giant Stay Puff, that's perfectly fine. But even though he should be smaller and he should be bigger, even if he was, doragory would pretty much kick this Marshmallow Man's butt easily anyways, because Mr. Stay Puft is not very strong. His weakness is if it's fire. What about Mechagodzilla? Since Mechagodzilla is sort of like a Choju, but not exactly, because, well, I say it because they both shoot missiles and stuff. Well, if you want Mechagodzilla to be 100 meters, which he is, this is actually a good scale. But if you want him to be whatever size the Showa version was, maybe not so much. How about an oil refinery? It looks pretty good. That's nice. And, any other monsters? Oh, Red King. Red King is very perfect. How about an enemy or a monster that doragory had fought? In fact, he was with Velocron, who I also got, but I didn't do a review on him yet. Gamora. Yeah, Gamora is perfect. If I had Ella King, I would pretty much complete the set. But so far, that's good. I like it. What about King Kong? If you want King Kong to be the 100-meter series, which this particular one is, this is a good scale too. So, yeah. Unless you want him to be smaller, I don't know. What about this one? The 2021 Godzilla, or 2014 one. Yeah, this looks good as well. I like it. King Ghidorah, since they are both evil monsters. He's too big for King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah should be the largest, but he sadly isn't. Sedora, I don't know about Sedora. However, he, I guess, looks okay. What about Duraco? Duraco, I don't think the size is correct. King Caesar, I don't know. And I think we have one more. Actually, there's two more. I gotta do this quick because, it's gonna take a while and stuff. What about a tractor-trailer truck? He looks good with it too. How about Neronga? Looks good also. He's 40 meters. That's perfect. What about a Kraken? Looks okay. And yeah, I believe that's it. Unless, did I show Yeti? Maybe. Not really. I think Yeti should be the same size, too small. But anyway, yeah, so that's the scaling. He's so far, so far, the scaling of it is quite nice. Now we're gonna get on to the history of this guy real quick. So, we're gonna just put that there. doragory appeared in an episode that was, I think, a double episode. Although the first one he made an appearance was in episode 7. in Ultraman Ace, along with a screaming, annoying thing called Marucci 2. It's not it looks like the original, but it's slightly different. It's called Marucci. Marucci was this fish creature that literally screams like a girl. I don't even know why that creature even exists, although I was in shock that the roar was even used for Tyrant. But anyway, yeah. So, along with Marucci, Doragory, and Alien Metron, but it was Alien Metron Jr., they all conquer Earth to fight Ultraman Ace. In fact, they were trying to stop this missile or rocket that was supposed to stop an asteroid from coming to Earth or something. So they were trying to, stop it and stuff. I can't explain too much because I don't remember it. Although what I can say is that there is a shocking part to where, I don't know if it's in the first episode or the second one of this, to where Ultraman Ace is fighting Marucci and Doragory. Now remember, Marucci is a kaiju. He's not a choju. This is a choju. This is like a, terrible monster that is stronger. We're going to use Black King for an example, even though he's quite powerful. You can imagine that there was a part where Marucci accidentally rammed into Doragory, and Doragory was so upset and thought it was on purpose, decided to knock the poor fish creature out, and literally, graphically, like Mortal Kombat, tore the top part of the jaw, or the bottom of it, off, and then just tore the left side of the leg off like nothing. It was literally like he was probably going to eat the creature, but he never. All he just did was just tore the poor creature into pieces, and the poor creature was like crying and stuff. And you can also, and because of it, it just showed you how, like, this is also why, like, it just showed you that these monsters are very strong monsters, and they're not the type of monsters you should mess with. Although, surprisingly, Godzilla would pretty much defeat them. But, anyway, yeah, so they basically defeats it. So, now you know that Chojus, which are terrible monsters, are much stronger than your regular kaijus. In fact, that pretty much scared me with Doragory, because when you look at him, he looks more like a boogeyman monster. In fact, he really is scary, and I didn't expect him to be that scary. But anyway, yeah. So, he tore Marucci apart and basically killed him because of some ridiculous accident that was not intended to, but it was just to show you how capable these terrible monsters are, and that they can be, that they defeat creatures and stuff. There was another episode that had the similar incident, but I'm not going to explain it. It's about Wu, but you can just Google that one. But anyway, yeah. So, eventually, because Alien Metron and Doragoras were too strong, or Doragory, Ultraman Ace had to use this power to where he had to it was really weird because it went into the body and just teleported it to another dimension. Although, yeah, you're probably gonna have to watch the full episode of this. Although I do know that in the end, Ultraman Ace comes back, he defeats Alien Metron by cutting him into half, and then there's a part where Ultraman Ace graphically punches a hole through his stomach, and he's like in pain, and he's like covering it. And there's a part where Ultraman Ace used this sword guillotine or katana, although it's just a sword. He uses it. He like runs up to it and slices the head off, and the Doragory is like walking like this, and then when he turns around, his head just falls off. And Ultraman Ace basically blows him up with the Spectrum Ray. So yeah, that was his first appearance. In fact, he was the first terrible monster to actually defeat a regular kaiju and stuff. Although his rodeo of defeating weak kaijus was not the first rodeo. In fact, he eventually had another appearance. Because he's a popular character like Velocron, he's going to obviously appear in the Ultra Galaxy shows and stuff. So he eventually made appearances in other Ultraman shows and stuff. his famous kaiju appearance was when he, along with Gamora and Ella King, and with Velocron, although he was teamed up with Velocron, the two monsters had fought it. So, yeah. And, basically got defeated. So, but eventually the two of them got the upper hand and they both defeated Velocron and Doragory. So, there you go. But other than that, he has done other appearances and stuff. So, that's the history of him. I can't explain too much because I don't remember the other histories. In fact, I'm actually kind of, like, I have to go soon. But anyway, yeah. So, that's the history. He appeared in the original Ultraman Ace series, which was in 1973 or 72. And he was the first kaiju, or choju, to defeat a regular kaiju. And then he had the similar thing again, but in Ultra Galaxy Neo fighting Gamora and stuff. Now, the figure itself overall, I would give it a 9 out of 10. Some of the scaling is not so great, but if you can pass that, he is overall a very great figure. He surprisingly scaled well with the Ultraman heroes, which is good, because the other figures, like the Spark Dolls, are very terrible when it comes to scale. So it's nice to get this one, which is like 6 inches tall or something. So that's what's very good. But anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and you can comment the video, and please subscribe to my channels, and I'll make another video similar to this one. Goodbye. Oh, I'm gonna tear you into pieces. I'm the Boogie Doragory. Rawr.